Is the applicant online?
Yeah, we're on now. We're
Excellent.
online.
Good morning.
Morning, morning. How you doing today?
Good, good. I guess last time we asked you to try to reduce the mass and remove the cantilever roof, and I see that you have done it here on the one we're looking at.
Gotcha. Yeah. That one
Yeah,
is, which page is that?
it's seven, is it? It's
Yeah, page 7. That's the white and silver option with no canopy. So
yeah. Okay, and if you're happy with that, we can approve that one.
perfect. Sounds
Okay.
good to me.
Okay, so the motion would be I will make a motion at the hearing to approve the one showing item 7 with the color. It's a gray color. Is that what you have in there?
Yeah, this is gonna
Okay,
be silver and white. So
very good.
the color is silver.
Very nice. Okay, very good. Okay, you're done.
All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Made it easy for us, huh?
Yeah, all right. Thank you. I think that con yeah.
to the immediately, things are rocky.
What? Oh, now we will begin. Okay, we'll begin with any public comment not pertaining to the items on today's agenda. Anybody in the audience or online?
Seeing no one rise and no one online.
Okay, close public comment and move on to an agenda status report.
No changes to today's agenda.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and then we'll review the minutes from March 21st. I think we have a quorum. Let's see. Yep, we should be good.
Chair, I just have one short change, very nice minutes on item number D1 to change, let's see, comment I to say, consider masonry wall and eliminate or something more substantial. Because I think really the only option is a concrete or masonry wall. So, okay. And that's, let's see. Okay, so I guess it doesn't make much difference.
There were no changes. You can report back.
I will report back. Thank you.
All right. Anything on the standard agenda items from there?
Minor typo there on item 5A. Please return with details of a roof eave over garage door instead of off.
To review 6 because it has elements and sub-elements.
You know, on, as per comments, B, mission revival style typical of Toro Canyon, it's not really the typical style of Toro Canyon, but it's the style they were presenting that they were trying to,
Yeah, I would just delete typical of Toro Canyon. Said it wasn't accurately
or,
depicting that
or
architectural style.
typical of Santa Barbara area. I mean, Santa Barbara, just remove it.
I think if you remove that, yeah, I think it's a good comment. Typical of Toro Canyon, yeah.
Yeah, just take that out. Leave the rest.
B2, it will be stone pattern, right? Or instead of
Yeah,
stone pattern does not match style.
Yeah.
The single roofs overhang, some were like 3 feet and some were 18 inches, and then it was chaotic.
Maybe we should say roof overhangs are not consistent with architectural style or throughout building.
Yeah, I think on C, it's really walls of columns, right? Because they are, it was like a porch, right? Like where the those arches appear. Walls.
About walls and columns should be thickened. I mean, in general,
Okay. Okay.
if you're gonna go for that style, they
Right.
should
Mhm.
make it more substantial. I think, A3 is good about the site visit, that they can go either way. Either do it now or hopefully redesign and then do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was worried that that wasn't clear. Okay,
All right, do we have a motion to approve with the changes?
I make a motion.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One abstention. Right. Move on to SBAR members' informational briefings. I think Val just needs to leave by 11 or 10 to 11.
10:40.
And I wanted to see, are we anticipating any absences for the next hearing? I have a conflict that I will work very hard to avoid it if it causes a quorum issue. Anyone else planning to be absent next? Okay,
No.
I'm still working on moving it, but I might be able to be here next hearing. Okay. All right, we'll move on to, I know. Front and center. The staff update thing.
Good
No,
morning,
we're
Madam
still-
Chair. No, oh, go ahead. No updates from Joe.
Okay,
I'm sorry, I was just gonna say Valerie stole my thunder a little bit. I was just gonna report that the item that the SBAR reviewed as a discussion item last time was approved by the planning commission. I'll take a look at my notes. Sorry, my brain is a little foggy this morning.
Yeah, David, I could give an update on that one real quick too. The planning commission did approve the discussion item with a 3-2 vote, 3 to approve.
Were there any changes to the architectural plans in response to our advisory comments?
There were a number of changes that were incorporated. In general, the third story, there were 3 bedrooms that were removed to make them 2-bedroom units at the top to pull them the walls in, so it stepped back the third story a bit. The first floor, there was a comment about the wood siding, that the hierarchy of materials didn't really make sense, and so that was changed to a stone or a tile finish on the first floor. They included additional green walls throughout. They updated the landscape plan to include more canopy trees, and they moved patios that were on the southern side. They did include a CMU concrete masonry unit wall on the southern side for privacy. So there were a number of things that were included from SBAR's comments.
Thank you for the update. All right, we'll move on to the consent item.
Yeah, there was one item on the consent calendar, the Wells Fargo ATM, and the applicant came back with a smaller version without so much signage and without the overhang. And I move to approve that project shown on the screen right now.
Give a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, carries. We'll move on to the standard agenda, item 1. The Van Cedars accessory structure, request of Roxana Bonderson, agent for the owner, Jenny Van Cedars, here for conceptual review of a proposed accessory structure of approximately 567 square feet for the proposed use of storage use. There's an existing 912 square foot, 2-story single-family dwelling on the property and 168 square foot accessory structure. The project will require 33 cubic yards of cut and same of fill. It's on a 0.22 acre parcel located at 4861 Ogram Road in the Eastern Galita Valley area. If you can go ahead and state your name and give us your presentation.
How are we on the mic? It's okay?
Good.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Roxana Bonderson. I am the planner on this project, and I have here with me one of the homeowners. The other homeowner is watching on Zoom, so say hello. And with your permission, I will just begin with a brief presentation to introduce you to the project. And we could start by going to the page SP2. I just want to mention to our driver that the pages are not in any logical order, so you might have to, like, I was noticing this as I was preparing my presentation, so I'll guide you a little bit. But I think that's going to be your page. Just double check in the bottom corner. That's it. Yes, very good. Thank you very much. So this is the existing site plan, and I want to start here just to introduce you to the existing conditions on the property. We have a 0.22 acre property located on the corner of 2 streets up in the Painted Cave neighborhood. We have Ogram Road at the top and Manzanita Road running down the left side of the property. And this property is zoned RR10. It consists of the 912 square feet, 2-story single-family dwelling that's up in the right-hand sort of corner of the site. And this structure was constructed in 1937. Everything you see on this existing site plan, inside of the existing development envelope, which is the blue dashed line that we placed on the project screen, everything within there that you see was ultimately built prior to the adoption of the county's LUDC. So there was no particular setbacks or other restrictions when this property was originally developed. As a part of our project, we're requesting a variance for the primary front setback. It will reduce the 50-foot requirement off of Manzanita on the left-hand side there. And this is for the purpose of allowing location for the accessory structure, which you'll see in another diagram. So that's part of our proposal. And as you all know, before we can visit the zoning administrator, we come and visit you. So that's why we're here today with this first conceptual review. On the site, there's also a accessory structure. It's 168 square feet, and it was permitted in 2003. It's located at the bottom corner, on the right bottom corner. It's also happens to be outside of that development envelope, and we understand that it wasn't subject to that setback at that time either. So the only other structure is a shed. It's not of consequence. It's only 88 square feet. It's just to the direct right of the house, if you're interested to understand the location, but it's just a little gardening shed without any, ability to house anything other than a few tools and so on. So that's the structures on the site. We can move on by just mentioning that there is a fence that surrounds the property. We'll see that in some photos. And there's a pedestrian access point adjacent to the house off of Ogram. It's just to the left of the house, and you kind of see it with what looks like a brick-like hatch. And then at the bottom corner on the left off of Manzanita, it's hard to see on this image, but there is a non-electric type of gate, and it's just to have another access to the lower portion of the site. One other thing that's important to understand when looking at this flat two-dimensional image is that there is quite a bit of a slope on this property. If you were standing up at the corner, coming down the hill, there is a very steep downhill slope from the top going down Manzanita to what would be beyond this house. So if somebody were standing up at the top looking down, it's a pretty steep, and you wouldn't necessarily see what's beyond the fence, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Are you all familiar with Painted Cave? Can I just assume you're not and give you a very brief intro on this neighborhood? Is that okay?
Are you familiar? Yeah.
Yeah, so do I. Well, just yeah. So just a one sentence intro. If you know Painted Cave, you're aware that this is a very random kind of hodgepodge neighborhood. It was it had one owner, and the owner split it into a lot of lots, and it was developed long, long before any code was applicable up here. So there's really a wide variety of what you see in shapes and colors and setbacks and so on. And I'll just leave it at that. If you have any specific questions, I'm happy to assist. Okay, so next let's move on to the project itself. And the floor plan is on A1, which should be, actually, let me just stay right there for a second since you have it on the screen. This is just a demonstration of the red on the left is again the same development envelope you saw in blue. And the yellow is the placement of the project, which you can obviously see is outside of the setback. And so in order to incorporate this project, the variance we're requesting is an extension, or I should say a reduction of the setback on that side, which matches the neighborhood quite a bit. We've cataloged about 20 with this house, actually, houses that are within that 50-foot setback, very close to the street, actually. But I know that's not what you're talking about today. I just wanted to let you know that that's the placement of the structure in comparison on the diagram there. You can move on to A1. We'll talk directly about the project itself. So this project proposes an accessory structure that will provide much needed storage for the owners because this property lacks a garage, and the existing 912 square foot residential dwelling is considerably smaller than all the other homes in this area. This house has no attic, it has no basement, and it was originally designed, believe it or not, with one single closet and no other storage space in the whole house. So the accessory structure is designed as a rectangle. It's a total of 512 square feet. It's gross. If you look at the top left-hand corner, or if you'd like to zoom in, that's probably the image we want to stick to for this intro. And you can see the exterior of the house, the gross square footage is 21 by 27. And because of the thickness of the walls, which we'll discuss in a moment, it's reduced on the interior, the net to 1910 and 25 foot 10. This structure is proposed for storage only. It cannot accommodate a garage at the site due to slopes and entry points and turning radiuses, but that's actually not what they need. They just need more storage. Yeah. So I want to make sure that some of the obvious things are touched on. There's no mechanical or plumbing components, but there is obviously electricity, light switch, and some lights in there. The roof remains within the 15-foot height from finished grade, which we can look at in a moment. Once you're ready, we'll move to the elevations. But I do want to just share a little bit about the structure itself. The only access to this structure is the doors that you see right there, 6'4" double doors that provide entry off of a proposed concrete landing. You can't see the landing here, but I'll guide you in a moment to another plan. And the landing, it actually does not provide vehicular access. It's freestanding. And the best place to see this location, maybe we can move now, is G1. And G1 is actually the grading plan, which will allow a lot of understanding of the site development as a whole. The recommended location that you'll see in a moment, it's probably lower down. It's one of the last plans. This is why things are out of order here. Coming right there, you just passed it. There you go. And if you'd like to zoom in, just to get us a little closer to the structure, that's probably the most important thing to focus on. There you go. Thank you so much, David. This location was actually chosen due to the minimal slope and reduced need for grading at this site. We brought on a civil engineer, a structural engineer, and a grading specialist all at the beginning of this project because there was quite a bit of thought on what we wanted to put here and if we wanted to possibly incorporate a garage or an ADU or whatnot. And no matter what we explored, really nothing could work here because we couldn't get the components that would be required for those other types of structures. And so we just stuck to the main goal, which was we need storage. This location was highly recommended by the three of them as they were analyzing the site and walking the site with us. Again, due to the fact that it's the most accessible location, it has the least amount of invasive grading, and the area that is sort of developed by the triangle that's formed there with the red on the right and the blue kind of dissecting it right there. That's the only excavated portion because everything to the left of that diagonal blue is actually already at grade at the lower grade. So there would be no cut there. Currently, that blue line holds up a retaining wall that maintains the garden at the top, which is at a very different grade. And I have some dimensions I could share with you. Yes. So it's tucked into the hillside with the red demonstrates concrete retaining walls on the two sides of the structure. And there'll be a 33 cubic yards of cut in that diagonal, and then 33 cubic yards of fill will be required just to smooth out the site, make it more flat. And it's a little hard to see with the colors on the screen, but there are two colors there, the gray and the blue. So we are going to be removing the stairs that come down sort of from the top of the site. In the proposed site plan, you won't see those stairs anymore. They're going to be just gently moved, the grading, I should say, the ground will be gently moved around to soften up the slope. It's hard to see again, but it's red. So you can kind of see how those slope lines are being moved to smooth that out.
I think we could probably move on to elevations. It seems pretty
Yeah,
straightforward.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
truly, the
Not very much
highlight of this
grading.
project is this grading plan
Yeah.
because there's nothing special going on here. It's
Yeah.
really
I
that.
think that's
And
fine.
and if you wanted to know, there's a single tree coming out. If anyone's interested in landscaping, it's the one being pointed to right there on the landing. It's literally the only thing. And we can move on to elevations. That's actually the end of my entire presentation.
Thank you. Move on to questions from the board. Does anybody have any questions?
Oh, if I could add one thing, I was just going to say, we did get structural engineering drawings for this proposal to guarantee that this would work from a like from a design point of view. So if you were interested, there are sections as well. I know sections don't usually show up this early in a conceptual design review, but I would encourage you to look at that as well if you're interested to see the footings and so on, the thickness of the walls. Thank you very much.
You just walk us through a few photos,
Yes, of course. Just
You know
keep
what?
scrolling down.
the street frontage and.
Here we go. The next
Photo
two
of the
pages.
Existing house.
Yeah, it's all here. If you just look here now, I don't know how well you can see it, but I do have photos of the house on my phone as well, which are zoomed in if you're interested, but the house is there on the top corner next to the map. It's not a really, here.
Um,
And there's a second sheet as well.
Does the fence remain and it?
Yes, there's no proposed changes other than the area that we've proposed for the structure itself and the excavated area. That's literally the only change to the site. The retaining wall will go away because of that excavation. Our hope is to protect and preserve the oak tree. The tree that you see directly behind the two little red chairs is an oak tree that's very, very important to the family. They kind of consider it the centerpiece of their garden, and they want to help preserve it in any way we can. So the only thing that we will lose is part of the lawn there. Hopefully that's all. Are you interested in actual zoomed in pictures of the home? Would you like to pass this around? No, okay.
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 Other questions?
Yeah, the materials you have in Hardy plank or what? Yeah.
If you just scroll to the very last, I think it's the last of the set.
5.
Yeah, it's hardy board. You want to talk about that?
Well,
Good morning, Rex Stevens. I'm Jenny's husband.
The home.
And I just want to give you a little quick background about myself. We have our own water company up in Painted Cave Mutual Water Company. I sit on the board of directors. I'm the vice president, so I'm familiar with flow and pressure and delivery system of our community water, which is important. I'm also a volunteer fireman. Both my wife and I are both volunteer firemen up there, and we've been volunteer firemen and women for the last 7 years. We are certified firefighters, structural and wildland firefighters. So we have that background that is helping us push this design. Our idea here is to have a completely fireproof building. And in the future, we will be adding the same hardy planking to our current structure. So the whole of the big picture matches.
Okay, good.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Great. Any other questions?
Just real quick, what's the overall height of the structure? Is it 14 feet or 16 feet?
It depends. Am I on? Hello? It depends on what side of the
I guess
project
from
you're
the
standing.
street.
From the street, let's take a look together. So the street side would be the elevation that you see in the middle on the right. Are you able to zoom in? I could zoom in on my screen. But that's from the street, not from the finished floor. So the finished floor is under 15 feet. I think it's 14. What did you say? Somebody answered, but
It'd be 14.
there you go. Thank you very much. I can't see from here.
you.
My glasses don't help.
Questions? Move on to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or online who wishes to speak?
No requests.
Okay. Close public comment and move on to comments from the board. Start with Val.
I assume the main reason that you're here to see us is because of needing the modification or the variance to the setback and
That's
putting the
correct.
building in the front. I don't see any problem with doing this. I'm fine with your proposal.
I guess the comment would be that the modification is minimal and consistent with existing development. I think that would be and I don't think the design is perfectly fine, ready for consent calendar, I guess.
Okay. After they go to the CA. All right.
Different comments?
Okay. Any different comments down there?
Well, just for the planner, architectural style is compatible with the neighborhood, and the mass bulk and scale seem appropriate to the neighborhood. And I think the rest of the comments are there.
If we can make the note that they can come back for prelim and final after seeing the ZA on consent. All right, thank you.
Thank you. It was nice being here. Nice afternoon.
Too. Right. Item 2, the Zimmerman Goldberg addition, request of Ken Radke and Elisa. How do you say your last name? Oberjuggy. Architects for Kira Goldberg and Aaron Zimmerman to consider the case for conceptual review of a demolition and replacement of existing pool and spa, interior renovations of an existing residence, including 840 square foot of additions, landscaping and hardscaping. Grading will include 16 cubic yards of cut and 60 fill. No trees are proposed for removal. The parcel is served by the Lacumba Water Company, has a private septic system, Santa Barbara Fire Department. Let's see. The property is a 1.2 acre parcel located at 1475 Cantera Avenue in the Eastern Goleta Community Plan area. You can go ahead and state your names and give us your presentation.
How about now? Okay. Good morning. Alyssa Oberjurgi with Blackbird Architects.
Ken Radke with Blackbird. Aaron Zimmerman, homeowner.
And we also have Kira Goldberg joining via Zoom, the other homeowner. Thank you. Thank you for meeting with us this morning. We'll try to kind of move through some background on the project quickly, and then we're happy to answer any questions after that. So yes, at 1475 Cantera Avenue in Hope Ranch, it's a 1.2 acre property. We were previously before the board in 2022, I believe, for a ground up new residence, an ADU, and a detached garage. We are back now with a revised project that is a renovation and modest addition to the existing house, keeping the existing existing attached garage and the existing apron connection to Cantera as well. There's a rendering on the first page there just showing it's a very modest ranch house suited to the Hope Ranch neighborhood. So if we go to the next page, please. General notes, next page. This property and its neighbors are really well screened by existing heavy vegetation along the road that is proposed to remain. You'll kind of see with the topography lines there, the house sits in a natural bowl. So its finished floor is significantly lower than its neighbors to the north. So it has great ocean views and it's not obstructing the views of its neighbors at all. Let's see. So there, you can see on the survey there, the existing residence. The proposed addition will take place in that kind of cutout area where the existing kidney-shaped pool is. And then a kind of narrow addition filling in the cutout at the northwest corner just to make the floor plan work better and allow the plan to be reconfigured for ensuite baths and bedrooms. And then a new pool is proposed just south of the existing pool location that you'll see on the next sheets. And we're avoiding areas with slopes of 20% or greater. Going, please. High fire sheets for the county. This project, being that it is in the Hope Ranch jurisdiction, officially will have 7 reviews with Hope Ranch, with both their architectural review board and their board of directors. So we last saw them March 12th for conceptual review with their ABR, and they granted both conceptual and preliminary. So if there's any opportunity to condense reviews here, it's much appreciated. It's being reviewed very extensively with Hope Ranch. This is our preliminary grading plan, very minimal grading. We have to include 4 guest parking spaces for Hope Ranch. So that's kind of the area that you're seeing at the south that's surrounded with trees. We have some fill there just to make a pad for parking and a very low retaining wall at the north part of the motor court that will be 30 inches in height at most. And keep going, please. Okay. Site plan, existing apron to Cantera. We are just enlarging motor court very slightly so that it's easier to maneuver out of the parking spaces in the garage. New pool and associated hardscape. We could keep going. This is our fire access plan. We met with County Fire on site and they were comfortable with access and hose reaches. Go to the next page. This is the proposed property gate. It meets Hope Ranch requirements. If you scroll up just a little bit, you can see it. Fiber cement or wood slats with 50% transparency per Hope Ranch. Keep going. This is the preliminary landscape and irrigation plan. We're collaborating with Susan Van Atta, landscape architect, on this project. There's some reference images there showing what the property owners are interested in, sort of a Mediterranean, very low water design. You can go to the next page. We're not removing any trees with this project. This is the existing roof and floor plan. Next sheet. Here you can see the light gray fill is showing the addition areas. So just to create a great room and better floor plan for the bedroom suites, just to modernize this house that was built in the 40s or 50s for modern family living. Go to the next page. And improving indoor-outdoor connection. The roof will be concrete shingle. Hope Ranch is very strict about this, so it'll be from their approved list of materials, dark gray color. And then we have low slope, deep overhangs at the south to provide shade. Keep going. Existing elevations, really low head heights for the windows. Just not much indoor-outdoor connection for a site with such amazing views. So you can go to the next page. Proposed elevations. Again, it's just kind of a very modest ranch house with deep overhangs. We are raising the plate height slightly to improve indoor-outdoor connection, but our overall building height is still well below the 25. So we're under 17 feet with our ridge. Keep going. West and north elevations. The north is kind of the quiet side, but that is the main entrance. So we are improving the kind of wayfinding and landscape plan and hardscape to make it easier for guests to find the front door. Keep going. There's a site section showing the pool and main house that sit on that existing pad that's at 293. So same finished floor as the existing house, obviously. Going. Some preliminary building sections. Very simple. Preliminary details. About 5 sheets of these that you can go through as fast as you'd like.
By the time we see Hope Ranch projects, they're like finalized.
So that's it. Very simple, but please let us know if you have any questions. We're happy to give more information.
Questions from the board?
Just curious what your new plate height is.
10 feet.
Can I ask if we could look at
It's a separate
I
file.
think it was the other.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move on to public comment. Is there anyone in the audience or online who'd like to speak on this item?
No requests.
Okay, close public comment, move on to comments from the board. Amy, you want to start?
I think it's a great project, and I definitely appreciate the renovation versus a new build. I think what you've done with the floor plan is really successful, and I like the materials. It's a really nice project.
Agreed.
Agreed also, although I really liked your original scope, but it was ambitious. This is much simpler and it's going to be lovely, but it was a beautiful design the first time.
Yeah, totally agree. Great project, really nicely detailed and great drawings that you guys put together. So congrats on that.
Nothing to add other than just architectural styles compatible with the neighborhood, mass bulk and scale seem appropriate, and the siting and project, of course, is fine. Landscape is amazing and well presented. Thank you.
Great. So this is here for conceptual, I think reasonably you are almost fully detailed, so you can come back. Prelim final, does the board feel like we can see it on concepts? Since it's
Yeah.
So far along,
And yeah,
or consent, sorry, yeah. So yes. Great.
Thank you very
Nice
much. I
project,
really
thank you.
appreciate it.
Mhm.
Thank you all very much for your service.
Thank you.
All right, and the last item of the day. Oh.
For this item, I did receive a late planner memo this
Okay.
morning. So
I'll pull that up. All right, item 3, the Slice Edition, request of Joe Stewart, agent for the owner, Eric and Emily Slice, here for prelim final review of an addition and remodel of a single-family residence of approximately 1,035 square foot addition to an existing 1,216 square foot residence. There's the existing house, the garage is 380 square feet, and the proposed project will require 580 cubic yards of cut and 100 fill. It's a 0.2 acre parcel located at 3932 Foothill Road in the Eastern Galita Valley area. And there's a planner memo that says the applicant has provided a full landscape plan for areas within the public view provided. The applicant has provided existing elevations and added landscaping to the front yard to mitigate for tall fencing and considered improvements in fence quality. The applicant has provided outdoor lighting where proposed. I think the rest is just the project description. So, you can go ahead and state your name and mostly focus on your response to the previous comments and anything we haven't seen before.
Yeah, excuse me. Joe Stewart, Studio 4 Design Group. That's pretty much the totality of the project. However, as you will note, it's been a while since we were here before. We were putting together the structural drawings, the landscape drawings, and in that period of time, the owners decided to make a couple of changes, so we can go through that. They don't affect it too much, but again, that's up to you guys. So if we could just start scrolling through that. Okay, so we can just start there. So you can see I've added a detail for the fence. There's a really tall fence in the front yard. And the reason that we have that is because this is essentially at the corner of La Cumbra. So the cars make that turn and the lights just go right into the house. And we can look at that in photos here in a little bit. Right now it's a vertical fence. So we've just kind of modernized it. It's horizontal 1x6 redwood planks, essentially the same height. It'll be double offset, so the light won't get through, but it'll still be a prettier fence. So there's that. We were getting close to a palm tree in the back, the extension that's on the upper right. So we shaved off about 60 square feet there. So that's the reduction in the square footage, and that's why. So then we can move ahead. So that's the existing floor plan. You can see there's an existing deck in the back, but obviously we're going to be pushing to the top of the sheet there. One of the other changes, hang on, stay there. Thank you. So it's a pretty simple gable, right, that goes over that middle. So we were then popping out the center of the house back to the backyard. And we were going to use the existing roof, but that existing roof, upon further review, was pretty not well built. And so originally when I was trying to keep that, we just did a pitch change to go out to cover up the new addition on the back. Because of that roofing, we're just going to replace the entire roofing for that portion of the house. So now the gable goes from the front to the back of the new addition, if that makes sense. So that pushed the ridge center back, and consequently that pushed it up 2 feet in height. but we're still at 17'1". So it's not like we're doing anything really invasive as far as that goes. It just makes it a better project. So now we can go to the floor plan. So we have just the bedroom wing, we just moved that back this essentially 3 feet, and that gave us the 60 square foot reduction. So we just kind of shrunk all those spaces. I think we can go to the next. So there's the roof plan. So this is what we also changed. So on the front right, you can see there's a small dormer, which we'll see in the elevations. And then in the center back of the house, which is over the kind of the dining room kitchen, there's going to be a dormer. So we added those 2 dormers. Okay, so that's really going to be the physical changes to the building. So if we can just go to the elevations. So there on the front elevation, front right, you can see a dormer. So we added that. And then on the back, that bottom elevation, you can see over the sliding glass doors, you can see that dormer that gets the light, north light into the living spaces back there. That's pretty much it, other than, as I said, the ridge line went up to 17'1". Okay, so if you want to go to the photos in the back, we can kind of just go through that. Unless, I mean, you can go through the elevations too. They really. So the side elevations, you can see before it was just the ridge on that one on the left. The upper left, the bridge was further towards the front of the house just because we're coming down and making a roof pitch change. There, it's just a simple gable. So it really didn't change it too much. All right, so let's go to the photos. So there's details, obviously structural. Okay, you can actually stop at the landscape. Sorry, I forgot about that. So this is the landscape drawing that you guys had asked for. So it's all simple. It's out in the front. The lower right portion of that is in front of that fence we were talking about. And then there's to the left of the driveway, they wanted a little bit more planting over there. So we've done that. Okay, photos. So you can see there's the fence in the upper left, looking from the street. And then the side, so you can see that fence in all those photos. So we're essentially replacing that fence with the horizontal, just modernizing it, and then the planting in front of that. Go ahead and scroll down. So you can see it's a pretty modest house. There's the deck in the back. If you look at the middle photo there, that's the inside of that same fence. So it's got a little site wall, and then we'll essentially keep the same height to keep the light out, just be a nicer design. And that should be pretty much all of the photos. So that's it.
On to any questions?
To take a look at the materials.
I also just.
Oh, great.
The paints, you can actually see it
Okay. The material board.
a little bit better.
There. Any other questions? All right, move on to public comment. Is there anyone online? In the audience?
No requests.
Okay, and we didn't have any letters that I saw. Okay, we'll close public comment and move on to comments from the board. Does anyone want to start with a comment since it's straightforward?
Just have a minor comment. Can you go to the side elevations, please? Structural, yeah, keep going. Yeah, and the other one more like right there. This is a suggestion, and it's not, I don't feel too strongly because it's not very visible. But all these big spaces, the big gable spaces, it seems like they're calling for like an attic vent, and you're in a high fire area or some kind of decoration. It seems like pretty blank. Just a suggestion. I'm not sure how you're dealing with attic venting, but if you need a vent, that would be a great place to put it.
Yeah, we're not venting.
All right. Okay.
I see. No, I'll take that. I like that. That's good. Thank you.
Comment? I'll just go through the previous comments then. Proposed improvements are acceptable. Return with a landscape plan for the areas in public view, which has been completed. Restudy the left side of the entry. Did you address that?
What was it?
We had a comment that said restudy the left side of the entry. I know, I don't remember what that comment.
Can we go to the floor plan, I'm guessing? Because I don't,
I think it was the, on an elevation.
I can't imagine what it was. It's, so the front elevation is,
Oh, you know what? I
Right.
think it might have been the site planning left side where you added the landscaping.
okay, that makes
I don't
sense.
remember because it has.
Yes.
Since you were here.
That makes
I
sense.
think it was the entry drive, not the entry of the house. So yes, that
There
was
we go.
addressed.
Makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, yeah. Provide existing elevations and add landscaping in the front yard to mitigate for tall fencing, consider improvements in fence quality. Both been addressed and provide outdoor lighting if proposed. Okay. All right. Any additional comments?
It looks like a nice project. I think it's a real nice upgrade to that.
And its agenda is for prelim and final review. So if anyone wants to make a motion.
I'll make a motion for prelim and final as presented.
Second the motion with the suggestion to add some decoration to the gable, the empty gable ends. Okay.
Okay,
Thank
do we have, or all those in favor? Aye. Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. In the world's fastest SBAR hearing.
It was. It was indeed.